Sunday. Ain't got no prayers at my Sunday. It's a fine day. Sunday. Sunday. Sunday, it's a fine night. Sunday, it's a fine
Happy Sunday, gearheads. Blind Mike is back, and I can't wait to see how tight his beard is. Go to blindmike.net for all Blind Mike activities. On today's show, David Collins lookalike Nick Mullen leaves the Alan Friedland show. Jim Norton and Anthony Cumia reunite. Antonio Brown's CTE is on TFATK. And finally, we check in with the Baldwins. No, not Alec and iPad, but the fake Spanish lady. All that and more, plus Craigers on the turntables. And now your host, a man with more meat in his pants than a shoplifter at the butcher.
Blind Mike Geary.
She call him Alan Friedland?
I started laughing so hard when she did.
That is what she said, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard at least.
Always got their finger on the pulse of this program.
Yeah.
It's almost like I made someone that's never listened to the show do the intros sometimes.
It's perfect. I love it.
Hey, he's going to be talking about Alan Friedland and
Alan Freeman.
Nate Mullen. Hello, folks. We're back.
Hello.
Craig back as well for the first time in a while.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
I didn't tell you this. I told you on Why You Laughing the other day, I mentioned that Carl was telling me that someone said, I'm a big Why You Laughing fan. And I introduced my 65-year-old father to Why You Laughing. Now, he's a big fan as well. The part I didn't tell you is that this 65-year-old man went to his son that showed him the program and said, hey, you know, I like this Blind Mike guy, so I watched the Blind Mike Project. He goes, this Craig guy's not an actual pederast, is he? And the guy said, I don't have enough evidence. I don't know. They've been investigating for a long time, but
it's not good.
Yeah. The New Hampshire police really gave up on that one, huh? There wasn't a lot of
they were there in seconds.
Yeah. Well, they were there very quickly, but I'd say not nearly enough due diligence went into it.
Yeah, the search ended too soon.
Yes, it did. The search. Well, hello, folks. I guess some Blind Mike Project news that we haven't talked about yet. I posted about it on YouTube and on Twitter, but I haven't addressed it. David Collins, no longer with the Blind Mike Project network, I guess.
Yeah. He called me on his first show back. Post.
I heard that, yes. Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to say bye. And I was like, oh. It's like, what part's a bit?
Yeah, it was abrupt, but it makes sense. I think David, I didn't really know what his plan was, and I wanted to be hands off and let him do whatever he wanted. I think he wanted maybe more promotion or something. Like, I feel we talked about it the right amount, and I thought giving him my YouTube channel for an hour and a half a week, that's about as much as I can do. I'm not Joe Rogan, for God's sake, you know?
Right.
I'm not a kingmaker. So I felt I did what I could to promote it, but I think David basically he got what he wanted out of it. Let people know, now the people that enjoy Drive Time David Collins know he's doing it on the David Collins 30-minute half-hour show YouTube channel. So go subscribe to that at David Collins Show on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does he put it out as a podcast? I have no idea.
That's a great question. I can find out.
Yeah. Well, either way, go support David Collins 30-minute half-hour show. We still love David here. No bad blood. I think he just said, the people that are here that know about it now. So now you can go watch it on David's channel. Time to spread his wings on his own. So we'll miss you, David, but you're always welcome here anytime if you'd like to come back. So no bad. I think people assume bad blood when things like that end. But as far as I know, I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, I'm not seeing his show anywhere.
Well, there you go.
Unless
what a promoter. It doesn't exist, folks. Don't even bother looking for it.
Look for it on YouTube.
Yes.
It seems impossible to find on podcast platforms.
All right, David Collins on YouTube. I think that's about it as far as housekeeping notes.
I have a price on the ballpark of the venue if you want to talk about it.
Not on air. Of course not. Yeah, why don't you go into all my finances?
If you want to know.
Why don't hold on? Let me screen share and we can open up my bank account. And then we'll crunch the numbers on this thing. What do you say?
That's a pretty good idea.
Good producing as always.
Yeah.
But for those that don't know, because we just did it on Patreon, we have discussed a live show that will be really centered on Quincy.
Yes.
So I don't know. Like, for those of you that weren't on Patreon, let me know, guys. Will you go to an all Quincy live show? We have a drinking game we're going to make out of it. Like, I think we're going to have some fun with it. But I'm just asking, like, if you've never watched Quincy, will you go? Because if it's just the people that watch Quincy, it's going to be 5 of us.
Yeah.
I'd like to do this thing for more than 3 people.
One in the chat if you'd go still.
Yeah. If it's all Quincy all the time, are you still in? My pitch is that I don't think you needed to watch the previous 148 episodes or however many there are.
Right.
I think you'll catch on pretty quick. So hopefully that entices people. But
so far, DJ Electra says she'd go, and someone named Weird Comet says no.
Oh, good.
Good. The ones are flowing. The ones are.
Oh,
flowing.
good. All right. Thank God.
All right. Here we go.
Electra's like, who is this? Cubert? What are we watching?
We're going to watch Columbo with everybody.
The Alan Friedland show. I wrote it. There's no way I wrote Alan.
I should probably check.
All right. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Since we've mentioned it, the Adam Friedland show is going through yet another change. We've talked about Cumtown, the history of Cumtown we did on Why Are You Laughing? Go check that out. And Stavros left, and then Nick had a very innovative idea to center the new show around the punching bag of the old show. Brilliant. And it seems that program, at least as we know it, is coming to an end. So they had Ari Shafir on about a week ago and discussed the end of yet another era for the Adam Friedland show.
Yeah, we'll see if this is a bit or not next week.
I don't think it is. So it's been over a week. I made sure to check. They haven't done an episode. I don't think, Nick Mullen will say, like, I'm quitting the podcast. This felt a little more serious, so we'll see. But let's hear them address it.
Hello and welcome to the Adam Friedland Show podcast. Special guest this week, Ari Shafir
and Mullen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do we want to address
this
the fans?
This is my final episode.
This is Nick's final episode.
What is going on with this podcast?
We've been trying to.
Last time I was here, you weren't here.
We've been trying to stop podcasting for about 47 years now.
Yeah.
No,
I'm doing it. I'm just gonna.
You're stopping.
I'm hitting the road,
Yeah.
and by that
What
I
do
mean going home.
Like in a Jack Kerouac way. Yeah.
You're just done with it?
But he hits the road.
Yeah.
Wait.
There's road hitting.
It's called hitting the road. The truth is that the talk show we are going to be in the next 2 months converting it to a new model where it's going to be a once a week show.
Yeah, so they're doing they do like a serious talk show. And here's what's interesting about these guys. They had Rob Schneider on a few months ago. And it starts with like a sketch to open it. But it's really well shot. It's Nick and Adam as kids. And it's like a 14-minute movie. They basically made a short film about Nick and Adam as children. And the only, like, when you watch it, you start thinking, like, I've clearly clicked on the wrong video.
Right.
This doesn't make any sense until Nick Mullen is playing the ticket taker at the movie theaters. You're like, no, I'm in the right place. But it's like a beautifully shot short film. And then it just goes into Adam interviewing Rob Schneider, which is very funny. And it is like, I guess you could definitely say Nick's talents have been wasted, because I think Nick is a bona fide comedy genius. Like, he is absolutely a genius in my opinion, and one of the great podcasters. Like, what he did with Cumtown really is brilliant. You know, the amount of bits that they created, honestly, like if you look at the online archives of Cumtown and what their fans quote and repeat and stuff like that, they have as many memorable bits as like Stern and Opie and Anthony, which is crazy to condense in a 7-year period for a guy, or 3 guys, I guess, but a lot of it was Mullen coming up with these brilliant bits that mean so much to people, and they still quote to this day. Like, if you look in the comments of that episode, there's still people saying Adam's a bug who eats dust. Like, it is held the test of time.
Right.
I will say though, I think it's probably the right move in the sense that, like, there's a trend in podcasts that I notice, and I've said this before. I think the 2 biggest culprits of this are Stavros Halkias and Dan Soder. Like, 2 guys I really like on podcasts. I think they're very funny guys, but what exhausts me about them is they constantly say on their podcasts, "Oh, I wish I could quit podcasting. I hate it so much." And Nick Mullen does that a lot as well. I think there's a different style. Like, Nick makes it funnier than those guys do, but Nick is guilty of that for sure. So, like, if he's actually quitting and trying to write a movie or go out, whatever the next project is, I really applaud that, because it's like, I think it's disrespectful to the audience to keep coming on and being like, "Oh, I just hate podcasting. I wish I could quit it and do something else." It's like, well, then do that. Like, if you hate what you're doing that much, it's kind of a slap in the face to all the people that are watching this podcast every week.
Yes, but he continues throughout this whole episode.
So that, like, if you just heard that, you're like, "Oh, he's fucking around." But they keep referencing it throughout the episode, and they haven't posted it in 9 days, something like that. So I think it's legitimate, but you guys decide.
But I mean, that's why I have to leave, is because I would rather, if I'm going to waste my life, I would rather do it fixing small motors and
I think it's time for you to quit anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Your heart hasn't been in it for a while.
No, it has not.
Yeah.
Cumtown was a good show.
Cumtown was a good show. This was a good show for a while.
It was all right, yeah.
And then the
Hold on, go back a little bit. I think we laughed over that. Did you hear what Ari called it?
Spite show?
Yeah, he goes, "This is a good spite show for a while."
Wow.
Which is funny to think, like, they kept this going just as a fuck you to Stavros. Like, neither of them really wanted to do it, but they were like, "We'll show him."
I would rather do it fixing small motors and
I think it's time for you to quit anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Your heart hasn't been in it for a while.
No, it has not.
Yeah.
Cumtown was a good show.
Cumtown was a good show. This was a good spite show for a while.
It was all right, yeah.
And then the anger fades, and you're like, "Why am I still doing this?"
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, what am I still?
Exactly.
There was a time when I was really mad at Bobby Lee. And then every time I try to embarrass him, every conversation he was in, I try to like get in there, like, "But he's stupid, right? You guys listen to this dumb fucking idiot." Like, and then at some point, I remember not having the energy to do that.
Right.
He was in a conversation, and I was like, "Ugh," but
He's
my
just
friends
a
are there.
small Korean man. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like getting mad at a Kia.
Yeah. How long are you going to do a podcast with a retard?
Can you
just to
imagine
get
being
back at
cut off by a Hyundai? Oh, this is probably
Yeah.
this is probably some rich asshole. No.
Yeah.
Right? It's some idiot.
Yeah.
On their Korean way to fucking go to their Korean job.
I can't believe you made him put on the jeans.
They made Adam put on the jeans of the sponsor they were doing an ad read for. The line kind of got stepped on by Nick, but Ari's saying, "How long are you going to do a podcast with a retard to get back at a fat fuck?" It's a fair question. Now, what's interesting is, like, Adam's going to keep the show going, which is weird, because in my mind, they were like, "What does Nick have to do if it's just an interview show? Like, what's Nick's role going to be?" I thought Nick was writing. I kind of assumed Nick was writing a lot of the questions. which is a waste of his talent. But just Adam on his own, like I think then it actually becomes what it was parodying of just a corny talk show. Now I will say Adam gets way too much shit from the fans of that show, where they're like even Ari just played into it there, where they're like he's a retard.
Right.
Adam's a funny guy on his own. I'm not saying he'd be making the amount of money he's made in podcasting on his own by any means, but like he is funny. He was on Story Wars the other night, or a couple weeks ago, I guess, without Nick, and like he holds his own. He's a funny guy. So he does take too much shit from that regard, but I think without Nick, then it is just a talk show. Like I don't really know what the bit is anymore. If Adam's actually keeping it going on his own, it is strange.
But they hit it again.
Yeah,
these are all like half hour apart, 20. Like it's all one thing at a time, spaced out a lot. So it's a little weird.
That's right. Well, Ari kept trying to bring it back up, and Adam goes, let's go away from it for a while, Ari." And Ari was like, "I left it alone for like 25 minutes, but are you guys actually quitting? What's happening?" So you can tell Ari was as interested as the fans, I think.
Right.
Oh, are you sad at all?
No.
Must be a touch of sadness.
I mean, you know, I guess some sentimentality is due, but yeah, the last 3 years, a lot of fun, and we did stuff, and yeah, you know, I had
memories of the place.
I had a great time, but the reality is, it's like it does need to be like a once a week thing.
We have to, yeah.
And so there's not really you know, I don't really know what I could contribute to that if it's just interviews. So like, you know, I got to go figure out my own thing.
Yeah, let's move on to another stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The objective is just, I mean, from the jump was that we would make something resembling a television show once a week on the internet.
That's right. I remember that.
And I will be carrying on with that mission until it kills me.
That is weird. Like if Adam's just doing a Dick Cavett parody without Nick, it doesn't really make any sense.
Well, if he's doing like all the writing, he can do that and not be on the show.
For sure. Yeah, he could still send Adam funny questions, I guess, if he wants to. That feels like a waste of his time a little bit. But Ari brought this up, and he said it's worthy of bringing up once a year. So he said he's going to continue to do it until it happens. But he pled for Nick to do something, whether it's a podcast, a movie script, whatever. He said, do something with Tim Dillon. Like that partnership, I think, needs to happen, which is, I agree with that. And Luis J. Gomez tried it with Bastard Radio with Tim Dillon, Nick Mullen, and Lewis, which is a good combo. But there's something like, I don't know what it is that Nick's supposed to be doing, but he does feel underutilized because I think he is such a brilliant comedy mind. Like he is so funny with the images he creates just on a podcast. So, you know, what could he do with an actual like big budget and a script and things like that, you know?
I'm curious to find out. I'm sure he'll get something.
I hope so. It'll be interesting to see. This could be a bit that got me. I don't know. But the reason I checked this out is because then Ari was on another podcast and mentioned that Nick Mullen was no longer part of the show. So is it just a bit they're doing? I don't know. I hope not, because we'll talk another bit about another bit later in the program that kind of annoys me that this is what podcasts are doing now. But I don't know if it's the end of. This is the official end. This is like Norton leaving Opie. It's like, all right, now it's really over. You know, the era is done. Now we all have to move on with our lives. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll admit I didn't listen to the Adam Friedland show nearly as much as I listened to Cumtown. But it was nice to check in every once in a while. So it's sad if Nick's not podcasting anymore because he's one of the great podcasters ever. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it.
It's so funny. Like I never seeked out Cumtown, but every time I pop up on YouTube, I'm like, this is very funny.
It's astonishing to me. If you ever, guys, go listen to Very Good Show, Craig's show, and tell me if you don't think he's directly trying to rip off Cumtown. It's astonishing that he's never listened to it.
I just put the verygoodshow.org thing. That I didn't realize HACKRIDE made a new one. It's now ice cream cones and teddy bears.
See what I mean? No, but Craig, like, go listen to Very Good Show, guys, because Craig, particularly back when Mike was on it, the great Mike Harris.
Yeah.
Because when
Craig was our Stavros.
Craig, no, he was your Adam for sure.
That's true.
But Craig messaged me to produce this show, so I gave his show a listen, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's ripping off Cumtown." And I asked him about it, and he's like, "I've never listened to it once." It's like, well, you're lying, certainly. But no, we will keep tabs on this. It'll be sad if the Nick Mullen podcasting era is over, but it seems that that's what's happening over there. So we shall see. I don't know. Moving on.
Patrick Crowley in the chat says Matt and Shane confirmed it on their Spiderweb Patreon that Nick is out. They were talking about it apparently.
Nick should be writing for tires. That's another thing he could be doing. Like there's a lot out there that Nick could be doing that would be very funny.
Yeah, make tires 15 episodes a season.
25. If Nick's part of it, make it as long as you want. I say.
Just do more, please.
All right, moving on, shall we?
Sure.
Let's hit the Baldwins real quick because I think this will be quick.
I don't know. Maybe.
We watched it on the Kirk Minahan show, but I just want to address it again for I feel like this program has a duty to address Alec Baldwin whenever he's in the news, and boy, I'm glad such a great serious actor has gotten to this point in his career.
7 children, 6 animals, 2 parents. A wild family.
Hold on a second. Can I say
What
6
happened to her
animals? Oh, that's a good question. She's code switching.
Yeah.
Code switching to her normal cadence. 6 animals is not a sympathetic, like, oh my God, how do they? I hate when people do that, where they're like, we have 3 kids and 4 dogs. It's like, well, you chose the dogs. The kids are human beings that you have to, but like, you brought the dogs into your home and could just open the door. Problem solved. They're gone.
Right.
You don't like really have to keep them alive. Like the kids are an important thing, but the animals are just something you're adding to your resume to be like, isn't this a madhouse, guys?
We have a goldfish. It is a real pain in the ass.
It's going to be tough because my throat's a little sore today, and I suspect it's going to be hard to do Alec Baldwin.
Sounds like you got like sleepy Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
Woke up Baldwin.
I'm just waking up and there's a camera in my face because my wife is an attention whore.
So that has been my takeaway from the however long of this trailer we watched. I'm like, he is not like this when the cameras aren't on. He's like, get away from me.
Oh, well, we'll get to see some of Alec parenting. Don't you worry.
A wild family. Why are we eating chocolate? Get off your phone. Okay.
Don't pee in that pool.
Gross.
Okay, right there. Hey, don't you pee in that pool. Now, if the cameras were off, I would say, stop right there, you greedy little pig. I know you can't control yourself, you swine. That's the greatest part is that like we've seen Alec really parenting thanks to that legendary voicemail. This will be an insight into what he thinks a parent should look like, where he's like, hey, don't pee on that pool. My refrigerator's not running.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy face. My son lost his mom in the most unthinkable tragedy.
Hold on. What is that, Hilaria? What do you mean?
I'm guessing what I'm staring at is the Rust set.
Listen, I know it's unthinkable. Let's try and give it some thought. What are you referring to? What happened?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about it.
Well, it's totally unthinkable. But if I thought about it for, I don't know, 5 seconds, I would say Alec Baldwin shot and killed a woman by accident. But
the way they worded that was a son lost a mom. Is that right?
Yeah. That's all it was, really. It's just a boy lost his mother. There's no need to look any further into it. It's just who knows what happened to that poor woman.
So all the proceeds of this show are going to that boy, right? Every dime made from the show is going to that boy.
That bitch has gotten enough. Her greedy husband has his dirty mitts in our rust pie.
My wife has 1 million followers on Instagram.
Well, that was very important. You know what's weird? I think she has less now. I think they failed their mission to get her. Unless I was looking at like a Hilaria parody account, but I thought she was under 1 million again, which would be sad.
Maybe after her husband, shoots and kills people,
Oh,
people are like, I don't want to deal with that.
She's still a great follow.
I'll see what her follower count is.
Don't you want to see her make our children sing her happy birthday? Wouldn't that be? 1 million of you should gather around to do that. Let's see.
Is her whole fucking? Did she delete it?
See, that's what I thought, because there's one that does seem to be her with like only a few thousand followers or something.
She must have got rid of it shortly after this son lost his mom.
Oh no, Poppy! They all know I don't talk like this.
Very convenient that as soon as ICE starts raiding everything, her accent disappears.
Gentlemen, how are we? Doing your jobs, I hope. Go get them.
Would you like a ham and cheese sandwich?
No,
this is a cucumber, by the way.
I know how to pronounce it. I can spell it if you'd like. What's great about this trailer is it's all the wacky like reality TV show music and all that boom, boom, boom. Things are happening. Don't pee in that pool. And then just out of nowhere, the brakes are slammed on to go, a woman is dead. We don't know how it happened.
Is that movie out yet?
So they had the premiere. That's what's weird about it. They had the premiere in like November.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know what happened to it.
I want to watch that movie so bad and see if it was worth killing this lady.
There's just a scene where Alex's eyebrows raise, and you know that's what. Oopsies.
You know when someone's on the floor and he walks up and shoots directly at the camera? That's the shot that killed her.
If they used that scene,
they get some real reactions. Oh, that would be wild.
This is a Western. Why is that character in a pantsuit this woman was wearing?
Why is there blood trickling from off camera?
Son lost his mom in the most unthinkable tragedy. This is never something to forget, and we're trying to parent through it.
It's never something to forget. Hold on. It's never something to forget. It's also never something to mention, quite frankly. Let's not even mention it, but we're not forgetting.
It's like, you know what's the hard part about this boy losing his mom? Us parenting through it.
Never forget. That goes for the Holocaust, 9/11, and me shooting this lady. The big three.
I would like you to forget it, though.
Well, no, that's a good motto. You can tell they've learned a lot from it. Never forget about it, but also like don't really mention it. It's important. I do have to say, my guy Chris Clemmer wrote a blog about this, and he was outraged on Barstool Sports, where he said he's like they're profiting from this tragedy.
Yes,
but my defense of them is like if they didn't mention it, then people would be like, "Can you believe they're putting this out and not even addressing it?" I believe when I brought this up on Kirk's show, his response was they could also not do the show, which is a fair.
That is
Alec Baldwin's been a successful actor for 40 years. So I guess that's a fair rebuttal that they could not do this.
Remember how long he's been at the Hamptons for, Mike? People seem to forget.
He just wants to make it not quite as miserable to be in that house, I think. They got that fucking smoke detector going off. Hilarious code switching and yapping all day. The kids are barging into the room when he's on iPad.
Guys, I'm trying to play solitaire.
Trying to parent through it.
When the world is
Oh, it's also sad now.
His son lost a parent. Here's me hugging my kid.
Not me. Who gets the last laugh?
I would never be stupid enough to have someone point a gun at me.
I'm tanking the box office open of Rust so that greedy bastard doesn't get a dime.
know that I'm
Honestly, from the bottom of my soul, I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have you and these kids.
I will leave.
That's a real insult to the first kid whose mother you left. You had a child in a different marriage, and you're like, quite frankly, my life would be utterly worthless if it wasn't for this new family I created.
To be fair, though, he doesn't like that daughter, as we've heard.
No, she's a little pig, a nasty little pig.
Yeah.
Ignore him. We've had bad moments, but we found.
What? What are they?
Anything you want to stop alluding to and just tell us?
It is. It's a tough situation because people treat Alec Baldwin like a murderer at times. Like I see some of the comments.
Mhm.
Like it was absolutely an accident. You know,
Right.
It's a horrible thing that he went through. That was never intentional or anything. Like, so I do get why he doesn't want to like address it really.
Yeah, at
But
best,
the
it's
way he's gone about it has been bizarre.
Yeah. At best, it was second-degree murder. Like, he didn't go to work that day like, I'm going to kill this bitch. We
Of
don't
course
think.
not. And the gun shouldn't have been loaded with real bullets.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth, like, on
Yeah,
the
let's
blame.
pop one in here. See if old Al notices.
Let's see how good his aim really is. You know? Maybe it was like a suicide scene where he's playing Russian roulette.
I was just gonna say the greatest game of Russian roulette ever played.
in the armor was like, I'm sick of this bossy motherfucker. And they did a different scene instead.
She's always yapping. It was just like a little kid get like angry, like boom, boom. Oh, I'd like to. Why I oughta. Oh.
Daisies.
She says you should look like this.
1989.
We're
I'm
solid.
glad we can all laugh again.
They showed a picture of him in the 80s. And the kid was like, you should get this haircut.
I'm glad we've all moved on and we can have a good laugh. And then it's just a picture of the widower, the guy that lost his wife.
So, yeah, you should look like this. Now, I just backed up a little because
That's a great episode of the reality show, by the way. The husband's coming to dinner.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Now remember, don't bring up the shooting.
Every time Alec turns to him, he ducks to the ground. No, but I backed it up because I feel like this trailer is gonna almost end with him dapping up his wife instead of hugging her. That's what it looks like.
The husband's at dinner, and Alec's like, I'm going back to Los Angeles to shoot film a movie. The guy flinches. This is a pretty good sitcom.
This would be great.
We're solid and we're here together.
He does dap up his wife.
You see what I mean? I said that Kirk asked about the accent too. He's like, is the accent in the trailer? Do you see what I mean? Where I said she does it in a way where like she still speaks odd.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, we'll do it together. Where it's like she's not doing the Spanish accent, but she's still speaking odd to make us think that was part of her regular vernacular.
She's done such a fake accent for so long that
She's just lost it, you think?
yeah, it's almost become real.
Yeah. Well, that's very exciting. Well, that was the end of the trailer, right?
Yeah. When is that?
February 23rd, I believe.
Let's go.
End of February.
We might just have to do like live streams every time it airs.
TLC is really scratching me where I itch. They've got Balin Dupree. They've got Alec Baldwin. They've got quite the lineup all of a sudden. If they start following Chili DeCastro, if they bring back live PD with Chili DeCastro, this is going to be my favorite network.
Some reality show about Ojeda running for office again.
Well, we'll talk about that later, but yes. That would be the campaign.
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so very exciting. We'll keep an eye out on that. And yeah, we will probably do a reaction show for the first episode, if not all of them.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to, right?
Yeah. At least
We'll
at first. See how it goes.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did with Balin Dupree, and I was bored by the Balin Dupree show. I don't think I would be with Alec Baldwin.
He can't. Just anytime he speaks, you're like,
Hey,
tell the lady.
hey, don't pee in that pool, you rascals.
And then it cuts to someone in like a confessional, like, we know that boy wishes his mom could tell him that, but
act like I really father you. that's the best thing is they're like, we have 6 kids and 5 animals, and it's like you don't take care of any of them. You're multi-millionaires. you have a lot of help.
We'll have to watch closely for the nannies, like barely getting caught in frame.
Well, you think I can afford that now after that son of a bitch milked me for all I'm worth?
What is his net worth?
Alec Baldwin's, I would guess
100, a little less.
Yeah, I would guess about 100.
70.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me that it's less. He's also gone through a divorce, and he's had all these legal wranglings to deal with. So,
because you would think, I bet most of his money came from 30 Rock, probably, right?
I would think, yeah, network sitcom that had a 7-year run. I would think he was probably doing quite well on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll look forward to that. I think this will be his best venture yet. I'm excited for it. So we'll stay tuned there.
Where to now?
Good question. Should we go to Legion of Skanks?
Yes.
From the other night?
Yeah.
Opie. Jim Norton and Anthony Cumia were on Legion of Skanks the other night. And something happened here that really tickles me, that comes up once in a while. And that is Big J. Okerson's fascination with the Dabbleverse. You can tell he just wants to be a part of this, and no one will let him. And it's very frustrating. So we'll see. But they did a lot of Opie and Anthony talk, and they were very into what Opie has been up to lately, because he is just spiraling on the internet. I was just listening to Carl and Adam Bush talk about Opie, like, out of nowhere, like accusing Jim Norton of like sexual crimes. All of a sudden, like, it's crazy what Opie is doing.
Right.
So Legion of Skanks were equally curious. They had Ari Shaffir, Jim Norton, and Anthony Cumia on the most recent episode. Let's dive into that, shall we?
Shit, is this a panel?
Finally, Jim Norton and Anthony Cumia are back together.
Yeah. Wow. They said it would never happen except a couple weeks ago on Jim's podcast. And every now and again, a few times a year, actually. Might have been someone else.
It's like when your favorite band gets back together, except that one guy they both hate. Each other.
Is that what it is? Opie is the Steven Adler of fucking of the Opie and Anthony Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. It's funny because like Anthony and Jim kind of reluctantly talk about it here. Like, they're obviously asking about it. But Opie's the one that says, I don't want to talk about it. And yet every post on his YouTube channel is like, will Opie and Anthony get back together? And he's like, oh, stop asking me about this, please.
Yeah, Cumia shockingly talks about it very little until he's pushed to a certain point, and Norton never does.
Norton had the usual response of this where he's like, I really don't care. I was surprised. Anthony, it seems like, has even like hit a limit with it where like they were asking him about it and he's like, I don't really get it. Like, he seems frustrated with talking about it because Opie keeps making him. But to be fair, Anthony does go after Opie on Twitter from time to time. But,
yes, that more so recently.
Yeah.
But here we go. Them talking about Opie.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I see Opie is at odds with both of you guys right now. I'm seeing.
He told me something yesterday. I literally never. Everyone says they don't check Twitter mentions, or I really don't check them. Like, I tweet something and I take it off my phone. But he told me yesterday that, like, oh yeah, he misread something I said. He thought it was directed to him. I said, I don't give a fuck. I just don't
Jimmy's
care.
Never.
I don't care.
For anyone that doesn't know,
was
I guess Jim Norton tweeted something, and Opie was like, "That's a shot at me." He's subtweeting me when it's like Norton, like, other than the occasional like Chip reference with Opie, like, he'll do that once in a while. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We make a little joke as Chip that's clear, but other than that, he really doesn't ever bring up Opie. So the idea that 8 years after their show ended, something like that, Jim Norton is subtweeting about Opie, it just doesn't happen. Yet Opie is so obsessed, to use his word. Opie's so obsessed with them that he's like a psychotic ex-girlfriend where he's reading their tweets and he's like, that's about me.
Right.
Yeah, they're talking about me. Why? Oh, they're obsessed with me. It's like, well, this might be a little projection.
Exactly, but I don't. None of it's on social media for me. I see it all on YouTube, like YouTube clips, people breaking down everything.
Oh, do you watch that? Yeah.
So there was something
Jay goes to
today.
YouTube to read people's tweets.
Hey, easy, Dave. Easy. We're going to get into them insulting basically what we do. And thank God Jay is there to defend us.
Yes.
For me,
there are shows based around people's Twitters.
It is a whole
shit like
thing.
that.
There'll
It's
be
an
entire YouTube videos that are
Yeah.
like the graphic is a tweet,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, "This guy tweeted this," and then this guy said this back, and you're like, "This is Twitter."
Yeah.
Hey, shut up.
You need a video.
You two shut up right now.
Shut up, Dave.
It's a normal thing to people want to hear our commentary. We add a lot to it.
That's right.
Don't you get it?
black guy with a beard and sunglasses reading the tweets.
All right.
Come on now, fellas.
That was awful specific.
Keep this above board here.
I
So I
didn't
think I know
see
who he's
that
talking
yet.
about. The Augustine Huizinga show. It seems Jay watches.
Good.
He's like, yeah, you know, I like the idea that Jay's like making fun of this, and he's like, oh yeah, it's like a guy with a lisp named Kyle in Rhode Island who's constantly talking about it. It's like, Jay, I think you might know a little too much about this stuff.
There's floating vegetables that cover it really well.
So you will watch. What we're about to watch is like them riffing, and Jay like, yeah, that's funny. But seriously, let's get into this Dabbleverse stuff.
Something that he was mad at you.
I ask Opie every year if we can get an Opie and Anthony reunion at Skankfest, and he has no interest. No, but every year he goes, ask again next year.
Oh no, that will never happen.
No. If Opie said yes, you would
I don't know. I don't know if I would do it. I love interacting with Anthony. Like I have fun with Anthony. Like I don't care about.
This is also the thing I said when this was discussed a couple times now. There was probably a time right after it, and where like, you know, some of the steam went down and you guys could have gotten together and maybe like put together something that was going to be something. The idea of just like, let's get the three of you guys in the room to broadcast again. Like, how could that, what's that going to be? It's not going to be good out of the gates. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's all, the magic's happening, guys. Like,
no one wants to see shock jocks in their 60s.
Put this wiffle ball bat in your pussy.
A lot of
No, that they'd still want to see.
And that is true. I think I know Lewis has been trying every year, but like, what would it even be now? Unless they're going to have it out on stage where
I
they
think
like,
that's the idea.
but that'll never happen. We've seen these guys be non-confrontational with each other. You know what I mean? Like, there would need to be an instigator. Like, you would need to have like Zach Amico, I guess, is like a big fan. And someone that might do. Clearly, Jay is enough of a fan to do. But there would need to be some instigator up there with them, like stirring the pot. You know what I mean? And I don't think I don't think Opie would agree to that. I think the other two might. But
What will happen is they'll get there, they'll start having it out, and the crowd will start booing every single thing Opie says.
right, it would be tough. It's actually when you put it like that, it makes sense that Opie wouldn't do that.
Correct.
You know,
They should do it not in front of an audience and then just release it after the fact.
I think it's just done. It's not going to happen. They all hate each other too much. We can stop fantasizing about it.
And they tried. We almost had them like 6 years ago.
It's over, and there really is no, like I said, they don't seem like guys that are willing to like really have it out, because Anthony's non-confrontational and Opie is delusional. Like, I heard those guys going over Opie recreating how he built the Opie and Anthony show, and it's like a genuinely delusional revisionist history of, he's like, so I was seeking a guy that had a regular job. You know, ideally like HVAC or something. It's like so delusional, his take on how it all came together. So I just don't think it's in the cards, and they all seem to agree. God bless Luis J. Gomez for continuing to try. But
We got our last clip here.
so this is where you see Jay, like, these guys are riffing and basically making fun of shows like ours, which, you know, very easy to do. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I, in particular, like these things. Like, there are people that will comment stuff like, oh, you just talk about Brendan Schaub for clicks. Or you'll just talk about like Opie and Anthony for clicks or whatever.
a few more minutes and we'll get there.
I'm genuinely interested in all these things, And that's why I talk about them. Like this has become my sports. I used to want to get into sports talk radio, and this has overtaken that. This is just much more my interest in what I follow, and I'm curious in talking about them. And I feel I add something to the conversation. It seems like the people that watch this program tend to agree. And if you don't have to watch it. Like we'll get comments sometimes that are like, just play the clips. It's like, well, the clips are available on YouTube. So if this isn't for you, go find the actual clips. So a lot of comics will make fun of this style of show, and you can tell Jay is like, yeah, no, they're totally lame. But seriously, guys, Opie, his new Unleashed channel, that's pretty crazy, huh? We got to get into that.
Big Jay, if you're listening, please come on the program.
Big Jay, you're welcome anytime. I'm the blind guy that you made fun of for not looking directly at you when he approached you.
But here's Jay being one of us.
But he's taking a shot, Opie. He's out there pranking people.
That's what it is.
Which I saw him. I saw one today. He got kicked out of the plaza. Spoiler alert.
This is, by the way, after they've moved on and kind of tried to, and no, he's like, Opie's giving it a shot though. God bless him. Huh? Let's go around the room. Everyone's thoughts.
I'm not even angry.
He doesn't
I just
sure, I believe you.
I truly don't give a fuck. And it's not out of indifference. It's like, you work with somebody years later, you don't work with them. It is what it. Who cares?
Is he sitting on with tons of money? You think? I mean, they always make jokes like he's a billionaire. He's a millionaire.
I think so. Sure.
I think he's got plenty of money.
I'm going to imagine.
So what is this? What do you think?
This is an indirect way to ask Ant how much money he has.
No, not at all.
So what do you think? Opie
Hey, Dave, that's really funny. But seriously, so when Opie goes live at 6 a.m.
He's in front of his window.
Yeah, no, you guys want to do your bits. The ring light that Opie uses is a little ridiculous. How you think a guy of his stature could afford something a little more?
No,
I would like to know.
I think you read as you conduct your life relatively pleasant, like you're happy.
Yeah.
This is happy to you?
To me. Yeah, you see who we're around?
Oh, Schindler's just a rom-com?
Yeah. Excuse me, Jim. My friend Jay is trying to cut the best ad ever for racism. Go ahead, Jay. Now, what do you think the secret is?
No, I'm saying he's so happy. What do you think it keeps in there?
Yeah, no, I know you guys are riffing, but have you seen what Kevin Brennan's been doing lately? No, that was a really good bit, Dave. But Stuttering John is on TikTok, but he privated the TikTok. What do you guys think about this?
He was known as the straight man on the show. When everything kind of flushed out, that's what they said. No, Opie was basically the straight man on the show.
Been accused of a lot of things.
Yeah. He got out.
Another good one, Jim. No, I'm talking about Opie. All right.
He's a guy like good jokes happening in front of him. Jay's like, guys, shut the fuck up for a second.
I wanted to ask Anthony and Jim about Opie. Guys, shut up. Jay, you're welcome in the Dabbleverse, my friend. Come on over. Jump in.
I want him on the show so bad.
Is he, when Nick Mullen was talking about Steel Toe, I said, please stay away. We don't need Nick's mind wasted.
Is it
such a topic?
Yeah, is it a coincidence that he brings up Steel Toe and quits his show shortly after?
That's a good point. Damn it, I didn't think about that. He's like, yeah, I'm taking some time to investigate the Ricadas.
That would be unbelievable if that comes out like a really well done Netflix documentary.
But Jay, I think, is equipped to handle all this. Jay can dip his toe in. So I say, Jay, come on over. We'll set you up. You can do they still do point dabble point without John? I don't know if they still do it or not, but John is Jay's welcome, I'm sure. I have an in over there. I can get you on, Jay.
I know a guy.
That's actually Jay. Big Jay Okerson super chatted when I was on Point Dabble Point at one time.
I remember that.
How in he is on this.
I remember that. And
I asked him that when I saw him at Skankfest, expecting him to be like, "Oh no, there must be some fake account or something." He's like, "Oh yeah, that was me."
No. No shame. I'm there.
He's like, I wanted to do it in Cardiff's voice, but they didn't have the technology
yet. Why can he live with his name being gone if he's sitting on all that money? What difference does it make?
I think, a bunch of people, they want the attention. Seinfeld still does stand up.
I'm 47, which isn't that old. I know, but I'm much more.
Mike, thoughts?
Guys, the jokes. Chad Zumock is running amok.
No, they said Seinfeld's still doing stand up, and Dave Smith said debatable. Any thoughts on that?
Dave's also welcome on this program anytime as well.
He's more built for Why You Laughing, I think. People will hear this week.
Dave, we just did a Jerry episode, so we'll have to wait a few months. But
in a little bit of a spoiler alert, Mike was like, this is going to be an hour worth of Jerry compliments.
Yeah.
And it didn't necessarily pan out.
We learned that there's a lot of issues I have with Jerry Seinfeld that I really think are more centered around my childhood.
Yes.
So go check that out. It's up for members right now.
About the money now than worried about fame. I know what kind of one helps the other at this point, but I'm
That's
just saying.
because you gave up on fame a decade ago.
Yes. That wasn't going to happen. So now you're like, let me count my shekels.
Let's play Who's Most Justified.
Yeah.
No, Jay, a lot of kids in sub-Saharan Africa have given up on a Porsche, but like whatever.
It's like these games. There are people that, they still do a show. They have plenty of money. It's just for the pleasure of doing it.
But he's not enjoying it.
No, he's not.
Jay's like, I know you guys are having a lot of fun at my expense, but here's this thing Trucker Andy said that I thought was pretty interesting.
You guys heard of this penis wrinkle guy?
I was in Rochester and I was talking about this with Vinny Paulino. Shout out to the creep off. Vote for Vinny. And
He's enjoying it. Nobody else.
5 years.
I don't think he is.
That show.
I think when I see him do the things where he's just talking in front of his window, it seems like he's like griping, and then people pay him money. It seems like, I think, to read something about how much they love you guys, and then he gets mad.
It just upsets him.
And then he goes, and now he's doing like pranks on the street or something. I'm just like, this doesn't seem happy. Like, why don't you just do a fucking podcast talking about whatever, and whoever listens.
I don't
you
know
can
how
do the
many
job still.
Tween girls are going to be watching a 61-year-old do little pranks in the
You think
city.
that's what he's
That is Anthony's fantasy, by the way.
you guys, you're riffing. Opie's TikTok is outrageous.
He's stomping on cakes again.
Let's get to it. Stop trying to riff on this. Jay has questions. It was very funny though, because Jay was trying to do like a Dabbleverse interview, and they were just like riffing, not picking up on what he was. And he's like, "Guys, come on! How often do I have Anthony and Jim on?"
Jay, you want to get the venom out anytime? Come on over.
Jay, you're absolutely welcome. We support you.
We got some super chats here.
All right, let's hear them.
Joe from Virginia. Have a good show, boys. Thanks for the content. $2.
Shout out J37shop.com.
That's right. Prairie Judge, member for 2 months. I take all good things I've ever said about Craig back and replace them with even better things.
Oh, good. That's like certified Craigophile right there.
Yep. Waiver sent a $1 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Dawn Fried Chicken. This will be good. $10. Hey,
Go ahead.
Hey, Craig, I want to attend the Quincy Live event, but I'll need someone to babysit my daughter since you're not going to be there. What was the babysitter service you mentioned where you were a part of? NAMBLA, was it?
That's fun.
Prairie Judge, $5. Hey, Craig, take another 3 weeks off. Treat yourself.
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Well, either have the kids or like a birthday or some shit.
I see.
Crap going on.
It is birthday season.
Both my kids are born in February. My nephew's born in February. My niece is born in February.
What was January?
Freedom.
Huh?
Oh no, it was birthday parties.
What the hell was that? Did you just have a stroke?
It's in freedom, baby.
What? To what?
I don't know. I wasn't.
Has Jerry just programmed that into you?
Yes, I have to yell freedom and revenge every.
What the fuck was that? Freedom. Lib cucks.
Ice. Flatbush Tommy, $5. Did Dave Smith and Jim Norton ever settle that weird beef with Dave's wife leaving the Chip podcast? Or are we all pretending that never happened?
You know what's weird is I thought about that literally during this episode where I was surprised Dave didn't mention because they were talking about radio beefs like that. And I'm surprised Dave didn't mention that Norton ate his fucking lunch years ago.
Well, I was gonna say, they did do a show after that and had it out, but I wouldn't. If I was Dave, I wouldn't bring that up because he lost tremendously in that one.
Yeah, Yeah, but no, it's never been brought up. They don't seem to have any issues. Like every time they've been on together, they're funny. Like they seem to have fine chemistry. So it doesn't seem like there's an issue. And even Anthony tweeted something. I don't know if maybe it was just the night this was recorded, but I don't think it was. He's like, I'm at the stand with Dave Smith and Jim Norton, and like tweeted out a picture. So like it seems like they're fine. But that is weird that doesn't come up at all, because it was a Norton decimation of Dave Smith.
Maybe his wife would like talk to both of them and was like, please don't talk about this.
I guess so, yeah, because she's out of the. Well, here's the weird thing about that was she was on Jim's podcast and produced Bobby's podcast and everything, so she was part of that world for a little while, and now is completely stepped away. So
She got to be a stay-at-home mom, I assume, at this point.
yeah, she might have a job. I have no idea. But.
Well, I mean, Dave's like the most successful out of the three of them now, which is crazy.
Yeah, Dave does quite well.
And lastly, we got Box Eating Dad, $4.99. Craig with a smiley face.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Thanks, fella.
All right. I don't know. What do you think next? Fighting the Kid?
That's what the people are here for.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Well, let's do it. Antonio Brown was on The Fighter and the Kid. It is interesting where very often when you see Anthony Cumia is a great example. When you look at someone's Twitter and you're like, this guy's like unhinged. He's having a meltdown.
No, he's
and then you hear him on the show and you're like, oh no, he's the same old guy. I don't know that that's quite the case with Antonio Brown.
His Twitter is legendary at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully, my goal is to win Cracker of the Year this year. So
He nominates people for Cracker of the Year, and like they're all thanking him.
guys, let Antonio Brown know I want to win Cracker of the Year. Tag me, tag Antonio Brown. Go get on Twitter right now and let him know that I'm a candidate for Cracker of the Year. Early candidate.
That's right.
But he was on The Fighter and the Kid. Schaub and Callan have a very interesting interview style. You guys might remember the last time we talked about Callan and Schaub. We said they got to let go of this Joe Rogan obsession.
Right.
Like they're all grown men. Callan, I think, is older than Rogan. Like, so they have to stop looking at Rogan as their daddy and being like, maybe he'll let us move to Austin. Maybe he'll let us into his comedy club. Like, they have to stop looking like that and figure out their own goals and follow those. And I think they did that with Antonio Brown. This is before the show was even officially started. This is how they're talking.
You sick of talking yet? Making the rounds?
Yeah, it's Breaking Some Bread podcast. Cool people.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
You're hitting the good ones, though, man. You got, I don't know if you got the same marketing team as Trump, but you're hitting all the big dogs. We got to get you on Rogan, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's the next one.
That's our best friend. Yeah, that's our guy.
Well, that was very sad.
Oh.
That's our best friend.
Oh my
God. Oh man, he's so cool. He's probably gonna come to visit us soon. He keeps saying, like, he hasn't been out here yet, but he keeps saying he's gonna come visit us.
That is
Rogan.
Oh man. And then and Friday he's gonna take us out for pizza and we can stay up as late as we want. And Mom says he's probably gonna forget about us again, but no, I'm pretty sure he's coming this weekend.
He just went to the store real quick. He'll be right back.
Excellent.
That's our best friend. Yeah, that's our guy.
We're going to do it February 8th.
Next week. We leave next week.
That's right.
Yeah, I just got he just.
Do you think Joe, like when Joe sees Brendan, does he pick him up and spin him around? Wee, Brendan.
Brendan might also have a thing against Jerry Seinfeld.
With us? Theo's doing it.
He is?
Yeah, you, me, Theo.
Oh, it's going to be good.
It's the four of us, and we just get wild.
We get wild.
Oh, man, it's so crazy when we're with Joe. I don't know if I told you he's our best friend. Oh, and we get nuts, man.
I like how they're like, we get wild. And he's like, have you seen my Twitter?
We get wild. We have serious talks about the technique of MMA fighters. And then we go off on a 45-minute tangent about how the government is suppressing the fucking JFK documents, and we get wild, man.
He's our best friend.
We're just three. And you know who else is really likes me is Theo Vaughn. I mean, he quit my podcast to get away from me, but like he's still one of my best friends too. I mean, Joe's my best friend, but like Theo's one of my really good friends. You know.
Yeah. This is moments later.
Yeah. So then they're like, "Hey guys, we're just riffing. We didn't even know the cameras were on. This is all so natural." That's a fun bit that podcasts do, where it's like, "Oh, you guys are here. I guess we'll start now." That was just us guys being guys, just chatting with Antonio Brown. So off the podcast, they're like, "Hey, Antonio, don't bring this up, but Joe Rogan's our best friend. I don't know if you heard about that." All right. Now, don't say anything about that. All right, guys, welcome to The Fighter and the Kid. Let's get into the real topics.
They left that in.
I try to bridge the gap with racism, which is making the uncomfortable comfortable. You know, we got the crackers of the day, we got the chink of the day, we got.
Oh, Jesus, Antonio!
You know what I'm
Just
saying?
like take my luggage.
What's crazy is all white guys want to be the crack of the day. Like all the white guys.
Hey, Brendan, why aren't you addressing the other two? Who wants to be the other two, Brendan?
He's like, nobody. Ew.
Rogan won crack of the year, right?
Yeah, he did.
That's our boy. Yeah, I love it. And that's how big it got because even Rogan retweeted. It was like, it's such an honor. You know,
Didn't you think that was so cool? Did that make your life when Joe Rogan retweeted you? Wasn't that really awesome how Joe did that? Oh man, he used to retweet me all the time. Joe was one of my good buddies. Oh, we had so much fun.
It's probably because he beat out Shane Gillis, and Shane was like, "You need to retweet it."
I don't know. I was in Texas the other day. Oh, funny thing about Texas, Joe Rogan lives there, and he's really good friends with me. He loves me so much. He's a really cool guy.
Oh, is Texas a small place? No.
No, but it's smaller when Joe is there.
This podcast is amazing, man.
And that's how big it got because even Rogan retweeted. It was like, it's such an honor. You know, Rogan, you don't retweet shit.
Now, do you listen to Rogan a lot?
Particularly me. And then Callan jumping in. Oh, how much do you listen to Joe Rogan? Guys, he's doing fine. He doesn't need the promotion.
You want to talk about it?
Antonio, have you ever heard of Joe Rogan? He's really cool. Antonio Brown must be like, is this like a Joe Rogan recap show? Why do we keep circling back to Joe Rogan? You hear, he just said he gives out awards every day for 2 words I can't say.
Yeah.
And your follow-up was, you ever get retweeted by Joe Rogan? That's really cool.
He knows who you are. That's nice.
You have one of the more insane men on Twitter right in front of you. And you're like, do you ever listen to Joe Rogan? Yeah, him and 11 other million people an episode.
At least. Next, we have him talking about the social media era.
Okay, I'm glad we moved on. So now Brendan gets into the nitty gritty. Like we have a football star. Like Antonio Brown will probably get into the Hall of Fame, right? I would think.
Before his meltdown, definitely. I don't know.
Maybe not now, I guess. But like he was on track for the Hall of Fame, certainly. Great player.
Great Patriot.
By the way, you remember when Antonio Brown was drafted, right? Let's give that a search, shall we, before we get into this?
Like 2013 or something? I don't even know.
Well, kind of taken away from the bit here, but
Antonio drafted.
What year was that? Why is this taking so long?
2010?
Yes, I knew the answer. I didn't know it would take 45 minutes. Yes, it was 2010. I should have just said it. And now I know what to do for the next part of this bit. But Jesus Christ, that was pulling teeth.
Well, I typed in when did he get drafted and it showed all his teams. So I was like, let me find the Steelers.
All right. Yes. 2010. You remember way back in 2010?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't, most of you out there. Most of you are too young to remember that year. But let's ask Antonio Brown about the social media age of football, a time that Antonio Brown isn't really aware of.
Yeah. Don't you feel like now there's more scrutiny that like the guys are judged more now because of social media? Like before, like especially like in your heyday, which wasn't that long ago, but even 5 years ago, they didn't get as much scrutiny. The shows like Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp.
All right. Now I hate to ask you to do this, Craig, because it'll take a while.
Yep.
Look up when Stephen A. Smith joined ESPN. Brendan is going. He's like, man, you don't know what it's like to play in the social media age of football.
It would be 2003.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. I believe Shannon Sharp was also on CBS at that point. Brendan's like, oh man, I know it's not that long ago that the social media age of football started. And guys like Stephen A. Smith were prevalent. 2 decades.
If you're curious, Shannon Sharp retired in 2004.
Oh, he did. Okay, so he's about to go to CBS.
Yes.
All right.
He hasn't even got there yet.
That are massive, have big voices, and with social media, like if a guy messes up, like homeboy, the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, he ain't gonna hear the end of it. Andrew's dropping that ball, like it goes on for weeks.
You probably don't know what that's like, right, Antonio? You didn't play in a time where that could have happened.
You didn't leave the game at halftime and cause a whole stir for about 6 months, did you?
Yes, well, when I played back in 2010.
So I feel like it's like guys now have to be even more focused. They have to like zone out all the negativity now. Little more now than when you were playing.
Well, then when you were playing. Now, I'm not going to put Craig through this. I did some Googling.
Yep.
Would you care to guess when Antonio Brown retired?
2 years ago, I think.
It was 2023.
Yeah.
He's not eligible for the Hall of Fame yet because he retired so recently.
Yeah, it'll be 2028 before that happens.
Brendan's like, way back when you were playing. And he continues this. It wasn't like, you might think I'm nitpicking based on that clip. Let's go to the next one where Brendan's like, you know, like you guys dealt with, had the leather helmets. And Antonio Brown, you were the first black player allowed in the league, right? Based on the time that you played.
He looks like he could still play, to be honest.
Trying to tell Brian.
Antonio Brown is my age.
Yeah, he could still play, but he's choosing not to. I mean, like the teams aren't going to allow it, but he could do it.
Right.
NFL is different now. Like it's much safer. It's more of a pass-friendly league. They're protecting their assets. You can't touch Mahomes. Certain guys you can't touch. The receivers, there's no blindside blocks. There's no chop blocking. When you were playing, I was trying to tell Brian, the amount of catches and yards you would have had if you, like, say you were a rookie this next year, the amount of touchdowns and it's a
2 years ago.
Has he ever watched football?
When you were playing with Joe Namath and Johnny Unitas, Antonio Brown played with Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger.
Different game.
Yeah,
it's so much softer now.
Yeah.
It's so much like name a like. There's defensive stars, not like when he was playing. Like the defense.
Oh man, not like back then. There definitely weren't defensive stars before Antonio Brown, like Ray Lewis, for example. No one like that existed. Ray Lewis didn't have a murder scandal 10 years before Antonio Brown was in the league. There weren't stars like that. Antonio, remember when you had to take a few years off of your playing career to serve in World War II? Imagine what your stats would be like.
Right.
Time, man. So when you look at his stats compared to the guys now, they might have more touchdowns or catches.
You got to take into account,
bro. It's like Jordan, LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron played at a different time.
Yes, LeBron was drafted years after Jordan retired. He literally played in a different time.
Did they not have a crossover? I feel like Jordan went way too long.
Jordan retired, I want to say 01.
Was it?
And LeBron was drafted in 03.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was right there. It's fucking Wizards' career.
Literally played in a different time. Antonio Brown retired well post-pandemic.
This continues.
Antonio Brown retired at the end of the Biden administration. It was the second half.
So here we go. Strange Twist is the next clip.
Oh, yeah, so this is Antonio's... you really see Antonio shine in this clip, as well as Brendan, because Brendan has a great comparison. Again, you asked, has he ever watched football? I don't know if Brendan's really heard the news, because Antonio Brown has been accused of some things.
Quite a bit.
I don't know if they're anywhere near in the ballpark of what Aaron is about to bring up, but
And that same year, I went in 2007. I went to Central Michigan in July, freshman of the year. Did 3 years there, and the rest was history.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But Mario Cristobal, I know the story. I feel like it was just the destined for me to not be in Miami as a kid.
Yeah, that
Get away
from it.
That was the best thing that ever happened to you.
That's why
you got family, you got distractions. It would have been a disaster.
That's kind of what fucked Aaron Hernandez. Like he was trying to.
Yeah. It's exactly like that murderer.
Hey, to be honest, if there was a Hollywood movie made about Aaron Hernandez, I would have Schaub play him.
A lot of people have said that they do look a lot alike. Yes,
Yeah.
But no, Brendan just kills on stage.
Not anymore. He retired.
By the way, Antonio Brown. It would be like if Antonio Brown was asking Brendan. He's like, when you did comedy, like you had to go to the Catskills to make your bones, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what Brendan's doing to Antonio, where he's like, man, back when you played and guys didn't have helmets yet, you had that one bar across.
Hell, half your career was in black and white.
Antonio, what was it like to play with Bart Starr?
Hey, Pete, sir.
I mean, he is what he is.
Hold on, you got to go back. You missed a classic. You thought Brendan bringing up Aaron Hernandez for no reason was the dumbest part of this. Listen to Antonio Brown. There is a bleep, but I feel like you guys will be able to decipher what he's saying here.
He was trying to get away from not to compare to him, and then he was also a murderer.
He's also was a. I mean, he is what he is.
It was just college.
Trump said there's no more transgenders.
It's only gay if you're smiling the whole time.
If you take a dick, you're gay.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, he did have a cellmate who came out and was like, that's my man. That was weird. Yeah, you gotta watch the doc. It's intense. It's super gay.
Brendan's like, yes, he is one. You're right.
Reveal how you respond to adversity.
Brendan compared him to Aaron Hernandez. Antonio Brown completely takes the onus off Brendan by calling him the F word. And Brendan goes, you know, he actually had a cellmate that confirmed that.
Yeah, wasn't his name like 8 Ball or something?
Something like that.
Something very corny.
But I gotta say, so here's what's really interesting about that interview. You saw those clips and you saw how wacky Antonio Brown gets. They managed to, for an hour, to like just ask him about straight football. It's just like, hey, back in your day, remember how different it was than now? And that's literally what they're like. They don't get into anything interesting. I was so disappointed by this. I was like, they have an insane man on their podcast, and they got boring with him for some reason. But those are the highlights. If you want to go check out Antonio Brown on The Fighter and the Kid.
We got a super chat from Detroit Dabbler for $5. I commented, quote, the man's a comedic genius, end quote, on Opie's cringy video where he's playing the piano on the hood of his SUV. He liked and thanked me. I felt bad.
Hey, thanks, man. You know, I don't like to say that myself, but.
All right. Where to?
What do we have left? We have Rick Glassman. We have Ojeda. We have. What else? What am I missing?
Howie.
Oh, you know what? Let's get to this. Yeah, let's get to Burr on Howie Mandel. We were away for this, so I know it's old news, but I haven't heard my take out there as much on this, so I still wanted to talk about it. You know, if you're watching this later, feel free to skip ahead if you're done with talk about this. But I was surprised so many people handled it the way they did, and Burr is still handling it weird. So I wanted to get my thoughts out there on this. A lot of people have probably seen this. Bill Burr on Howie Mandel's show reacting to Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan has this story where his mother informed him that his father was out on the road, and like time-wise, I guess it's possible that his illegitimate brother or half-brother is Bill Burr. And so Howie Mandel brings Billy Corgan on the podcast when Bill Burr is on as a sort of a surprise.
Well, I want to do something out of a place of love. I got something special that I planned for you out of a place
I'm already
of love.
uncomfortable.
You seem to be relaxed. Well, I got something that I planned for you. Bring in the surprise that I did. I did an episode.
T-shirts.
This is man-made. This is man-made. Maybe by one man.
Oh, all right. Who's this guy?
This is Seth. He's our camera guy. And look who's here.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Sit down.
You're an asshole.
Billy Corrigan. Billy Corrigan. Yeah. I'm an asshole. Yeah, I thought this would be great to bring a family together.
I do have to say, like, Burr's doing a great job acting here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is clearly fake, and I think they're all doing a great job pulling it off. I don't understand why. I don't get what the payoff is. Well, I do know, and they got it, and it's that a bunch of people watched this episode. It did great numbers. There are people talking about it that didn't even know Howie Mandel did a podcast 2 weeks ago. So it worked from Howie's perspective. But I don't understand what the bid is. I don't get what the payoff for Burr playing along so well is. But this was very weird to me. And it annoys me that podcasts do this now because it's a trend where, like, you know, Howie Mandel does this and it gets a lot of steam. Literally the week later, 2 Bears, 1 Cave. The title is, do you know Drewski?
Yep.
He's been making the rounds on podcasts. I'm not that familiar with him. I know he did Matt and Shane recently.
He's very in a lot of like viral clips. I don't know where the show's from, but I see him a lot.
What's sad is like this is all people ripping off our guy Matan Evan, where Matan makes the title every week like this person freaks out or so and so walked out or whatever. Literally, the title of 2 Bears, 1 Cave this week was Drewski Walks Out. And so I watched the episode and I'm like, these guys seem to be getting along. They have like sort of a playful thing. And then at the end, they do this fake thing where he's like, oh man, you're crazy. I got to get out of here. And he leaves the pod. And Tom's like, oh no, hey, come on. But like, it's clearly fake. And that's what they titled the episode. And so like, we get shit for clickbaiting by putting what we're talking about in the title. Which we're actually talking about it. Like,
I know. I'll make the title of this episode Craig Walks Out.
I don't think that's going to get a lot of buzz going. I'll be honest with you.
We'll see.
Craig walks out. People are celebrating. Trump apologizes to Biden and Kamala. There's world peace. Craig walks out.
I'll make sure I do it right at the end.
Yeah, so they're doing like this is all ripping out. So I talked about we played the Legion of Skanks stuff where they're like kind of making fun of this style of show that like reacts to stuff. It's funny though, they all use the models that people like this use. Like you can make fun of Matan Evan for doing that shit and trolling and whatever. But then like when it works, they all steal from him.
Right.
Like that's what's really cringy to me. And I'm not blaming Howie Mandel. I guess Howie Mandel was on Matan's show and played along and everything. But I'm saying in general, like people like Tom Segura will shit on stuff like that, but then steal it once they see it working. So that does bug me. And I don't really get what the payoff of this Billy Corgan thing is like, because as a podcaster or as a podcast fan, I'm looking at it being like, but there's no real, like, now I just won't believe you when like crazy stuff happens. I'm just going to think like, oh, it's a joke, I guess. I don't know. It just seems like a lot like you're lying to, there's a new thing that's like considered joking where it's like, hey, Craig, I have 3 months to live. I'm dying of cancer.
Hilarious.
Well, no, you're supposed to go, oh, really? And then I go, no, I'm pranking you. I pranked you by me telling you a thing and you believing it.
Sorry, dude.
That was my prank.
I already tweeted it out, so you're probably gonna get some weird DMs.
It's been a pleasure.
He told me you were totally cool with me coming.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I thought it would be
so
a
then
good
like
surprise.
can
do
this
look
be, like
related.
edited out.
But they're just bald guys.
No.
That's not a genetic.
No, but their face is shaped exactly the same. And
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you told me Bill was.
All right, fuck it. No, I'll do it. Like, did you ever think the fact that I never told that story that, you know, maybe you shouldn't? Did you ever, you know how many fucking like emails and crap that I got? Like
Emails.
I sort of like went away from that.
So let me just fill in. Let me just fill in.
Do we talk on a regular basis?
We've never met.
It is weird. Like, I don't know that Burr, he's a decent actor, but like he is pulling this off pretty well.
Oh yeah, that's why I sent it to you when I first saw it. I was like, "Is this real?"
Yeah. So there's like Mike Montante sent it to me too. He's like, "Hey, can you explain this to me? Like, why is that?" And I totally get why people believed it.
Burr is an actor, and he's not bad at it.
No, I think he's a decent actor.
Yeah.
I totally get why people believed it. If you saw the clip, like most people saw that clip we just played, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit down and watch the whole thing, I think it's clear that it's a joke. But like, what's weird about it is they never really acknowledge it. Then they bring Billy Bush in, which makes it clear that it is a joke. But like, Burr never breaks character. And then Burr the other day went on the Rich Eisen show, and Rich Eisen asked him about it. And Burr was like, "Yeah, I'm a little annoyed." He's like, "But how he does that stuff. So like, how mad can I really be at him?" So it's like he's still in this character. I don't get it. But like, I think this one's a giveaway, right? At least it was to me.
If that was real though, too, when Dan Patrick said that, he would have been more mad and just stopped talking about it.
Right. Well, right. I think even with this, Burr would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He would have walked out if he was
Yeah.
that.
So
this is the giveaway.
So to me, it is, and I'll explain why after we hear it.
He was a piece of shit.
With you.
And he had two kids this close together, and he named them the same fucking name. He thinks it's different because he's Billy and I'm Bill. Like, that's how he told the difference.
Well, I was Bill when I was young. But you're right. I mean, with all respect.
I just thought,
whatever. You know, it's not that I don't like him. It reminds me of all of that shit. So, you know, it's like
it just seems more of the same from what I've been hearing.
All right, whatever. I mean, I like your music.
Appreciate it.
Would you know what'd be cool if you let your brother play drums?
Well, the fact that he's
Howie, I gotta say, Howie is great in this. By
He's
the way,
so funny.
Howie's nailing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how here's how I knew of Howie Mandel for most of my childhood. He had a cartoon that was either before or after Louis Anderson's cartoon. He made latex gloves blow up with his nose, and he hosted Deal or No Deal in America's Got Talent. Like most of my youth, that's how I knew Howie Mandel. But like, he's done some funny stuff on these podcasts. Like, I've seen him get a lot of hate online. I found him funny through a lot of this. I thought he did a good job with this. But.
We played an episode that he was getting crushed for that we were defending him, and I forget what it was about.
Yeah, it was Red Bar.
Right. Oh, right.
He handled the Red Bar stuff, I thought, pretty well.
Yeah, he was making fun of himself.
Yeah, totally. He was totally in on the joke. So yeah, Howie Mandel was funny through this, and Bill Burr is acting tremendously. To me, the giveaway was that stupid, like, well, he goes by Bill and I go by Billy. Yeah. Bill Burr went by Billy Burr for the first like 10 or 15 years of his career.
And it depends on what circles still does.
Yeah, Voss and Bob Kelly still call him Billy Burr.
Yeah. Also, another thing I haven't heard yet. Do you know what Billy Corgan owns, which would lead this to be even more?
NWA?
Yep.
Is it NWA?
Yep.
That's the name of the wrestling corporation?
National Wrestling Alliance. It's an old school wrestling.
They know that there's a different group with that name. Right?
NWA was way before the rap group.
Oh, they should sue them.
Yeah.
Like the WWF got sued.
Right. But this is a wrestling bit.
Well, Billy Corgan's wearing the fucking t-shirt, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it is a wrestling bit, but what's weird to me is like why they stuck with it as much as they did. I felt the other giveaway was when they brought Billy Bush on for some reason. I didn't get that, but I think this one's Howie having fun with it, right?
This clip is still going. This last one.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm not funny, right? You know what I mean? So it goes both ways.
Listen, you've done well for yourself. I'm happy for you. You know, but I just would prefer if you just kind of didn't go around. No, not telling these fucking stories. Like, why did you feel the need to do that?
Okay, can I give you the setup on all this because it's his fault.
You can do whatever you want because you kind of already did that.
Okay, I'm trying to be respectful.
Now you are.
Okay.
So my only other thing is, I think here's my other potential theory. I think that it's not a true story, but Burr is annoyed that Billy Corgan went on and told the story.
Well, I
he
think
wasn't a part of.
I think the story Billy Corgan told was true.
Was a real story.
Yes, even
not that what happened was true. Not that Bill
Right.
Burr's his brother, but like there was technically some possibility. Like his mom said that or whatever.
his mom actually said that Bill Burr might be one of his
Right. And then I think Bill is actually annoyed that it's something that he had to answer for.
Yes.
But then by going along with this, like now I think are Burr's parents still alive? Like that is a weird thing for their reputation. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know, but I do know he has a special coming out on a platform he hasn't been on yet.
That's the other weird thing is he's why is he promoting it in January?
I don't know.
Comes out in March.
Yeah. Pi Day, I think.
Nice.
Yep, great touch. This is Howie though, yes.
Craig walks out.
That's the title.
What a shame that would be.
It would be. You don't get fun comments like, is he really a pederast? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
He owns about 80 buildings in this area. I don't know if you know how rich he is, but anyway, so I was working in another building, and I came out the building, and the first thing he said to me was,
"What is Billy Corgan doing plumbing? What the hell does that mean?"
It's walking out of a building.
Working in another yeah, I'm the super at one of Howie Mandel's buildings.
Maybe he was having a wrestling show.
And I said, "Do you know that story somehow?" He said, "What story?" So I told him privately that story. He said, "Oh, you got to say this on the air."
Yeah, but he always does that. Because that's the thing. He's bringing in here not because he's trying to heal the bullshit that we went through growing up. He's getting here just for the fucking ratings. I mean, the guy literally accepted a fucking award in the middle of a podcast.
Here's my thing.
That was very funny, actually.
It was very funny. Yeah. Like Howie Mandel was funny on this. Here's my thing with this bit. If it's real, it's very interesting. I don't think it is real. If it's fake, it's kind of creepy.
I feel like
you know what I mean. Like it's weird that Burr is doing this. Like he's bringing up the bullshit that we went through as kids. Like that's weird to me. If it is a bit.
The thing is, though, can you with 100% certainty say that this isn't true?
I can't. No.
That's why it's still lingering.
That's why it's genius.
Yes.
By Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be promoting my special, and he's over here like
you can do it. March 14th on
like that's gonna help now.
I still love you though, even though you did.
But
this.
it's not about
okay.
me.
So now, what was supposed to happen? Are we going to go play catch? We're both in our 50s.
My arm is still good. I gotta go.
Yeah, I thought Burr was funny, but it is weird. Like, I think this constant pranking of the audience is a weird trend to me.
Yeah,
where it's like, wouldn't that be funny if we told the audience something that wasn't true and they all believed it? It's like, I guess. I guess it would be funny if like your whole audience lost all trust in you. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so funny.
You know what I mean? And like Shuley did it too, right? With the Cumia. Like it seems like a constant thing where it's like, let's prank these rubes that watch the podcast.
Remember that Shuley prank with ISO?
That was a good one.
Yeah, it seemed pretty real.
All act like we don't know anything.
This last clip is called "Nice Touch."
Well, this was Howie nailing it. I thought this is very good.
You're always trying to bring families together. That's what you do.
I thought I did something good.
People
and
that don't want to
asshole.
be brought together.
It's not that I don't want to. It's just like this. I don't think that this was the situation. But I am happy though that I have evolved as much as a person that I'm able to sort of like fucking handle it, because I don't want to like get mad at you because of our dad or whatever. But like,
why don't you talk more? And Sonny, why don't you play some beautiful like mood, like family? You just.
Dude, you are such a dick. You know, I never thought that, you know, when I finally would meet you, that there would be like cameras on and this fucking asshole here who, let's be honest, has always been a bit of a lounge act. He held on to that St. Elmo's Fire. What was the name of the thing that you were in?
St. Elmo's.
It's not about me. No, it's not about me. It's
Dude,
about
I'm not
you
doing
two.
this. I'm not
It's
doing
about
this.
you two.
Everything is a fucking
Billy?
bit with you.
It's not a
Yeah, so I think it's clearly
He called him Billy. Did you hear that?
yeah, right. But like it's like they acknowledge it's a bit. That's why it was weird to me that so many people bought this. But I guess they bought it because they just saw the clip. Like I saw the Instagram clip, and if you're just watching that, you are like, "Holy shit, is this real?" Like that's uncomfortable. I think if you watch the whole thing, you can tell it's a bit. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting to me. It's interesting to me because it's very well done, but I don't understand the point of it.
Fair.
Is it to fuck with the audience?
I don't know. I
Hey,
think-
we got you guys. You're fucking idiots. Like, is that the goal of shows now? To be like, all the people that watch us are fucking retarded. Ah, we got you.
I don't think it's like. I think it's more simple than that. It was just like this would be funny, and then it exploded more than they thought. Probably.
I don't know. I think that's a thing now where it's like Bill Burr walks out, or you know what I mean? Like
No.
Bill Burr versus Billy Corgan. Like, I think that's big for a lot of podcasts, and they're ripping off Matan Evan and guys that they claim are like just trolls, you know.
Ironhead storms off.
Again, if you were a bigger name, that would do great things for us.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Craig walks out. Yeah, let's see. Maybe this will take off.
It's gonna be a lot of. I was real disappointed that it wasn't true.
I clicked on this episode, and when you got to the Bill Burr thing, I was disappointed.
It's like finally.
Although there are Craigophiles out there that would say no, then we're stuck with Casey Day. But the Day Lords would rejoice, so it'd be a tough day for people.
I mean, there's no better name than the Daylords.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yes, on the Alan Friedland show. Did I write Alan Friedland? There's no way.
I have no idea. I didn't know you wrote the intros.
Oh no, I didn't. I don't write the intros. I'm saying like he asked me for the topics.
Oh, let me
So
see.
it's maybe I wrote Alan Friedland, which I would be surprised by. But
Very funny.
all right, moving on. One more thing before we get to our big news of the day, which is Richard Ojeda running for office. But first we'll touch on Rick Glassman's podcast. A lot of podcast news this week.
Yes.
And we're addressing a lot of discomfort on podcasts. Now, this was discomfort that I really enjoyed. This was like two guys. I think Rick Glassman puts it beautifully in our first clip. Two guys that are so very different. Like I clicked on this episode because I like Rick Glassman, but also because I love Kyle Kinane. I think Kyle Kinane is one of the most underrated stand-ups working today. He has a ton of material out there, and it's all very good. And I don't think you hear his name enough. He's kind of removed himself from comedy. He lives out in Portland. He doesn't do a ton of podcasts. So he's removed himself a little bit from like the mainstream comedy world. But I thought he would be a great take your shoes off guest with Rick Glassman. And Rick gets a lot of hate. I remember the last time we covered Rick Glassman, someone responded like, "Oh, Rick Glassman is the worst type of Nepo baby in Hollywood." And I was like, I think his dad owns a carpet store in Cleveland. I don't think he's a Nepo baby, but
Also-
he gets a lot of hate. I don't get it. I think Rick Glassman is brilliant because I think Rick Glassman is essentially doing Andy Kaufman, but has added an element of breaking character and asking the person if he's annoying them. He's not the voice of Comedy Central anymore. No.
No.
But his that'll be addressed somewhat at the end.
That comes up later. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought the combination of these two it seemed perfect to me on paper, and it absolutely paid off because Kyle Kinane plays along in his discomfort. Like their uncomfortableness with each other is what made this a great episode. So I wanted to suggest to people, if these clips interest you at all, go watch the full episode because I think it's a great way to. If you've never watched Take Your Shoes Off, I think this is a good episode to start with. So Let's hear Rick Glassman addresses kind of the awkwardness early on.
But I like to go to the store. That was the whole point, is that I get stoned. I can go to the Winco in person. That's my big venturing in the world. Stoned. Being at the grocery store, seeing if I can handle it.
So it's like working out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Control impulses to get treats or control impulses to like do bits to strangers?
I'm not talking to strangers.
Right. Yeah, we have a very different thing, you and me.
Yeah. Oh, you just talk to strangers all the time?
I'm literally paying my rent from that.
Fuck, man, you got it all figured out.
I burst out laughing. Maybe you need to watch the full episode to really appreciate that comment. But when he says, we've got very different things, you and me, it really hit me, because like that's what this episode is. It's two very different guys, like dogs sniffing each other's asses. Like it's two guys that aren't quite sure what to make of each other, and they're feeling each other out. But I think Kinane, by the end of it, ended up getting it and enjoying it. But you're watching him not know what the fuck to make of it as it goes along.
Yeah, this next clip is them feeling each other out.
For sure, yeah.
Like if YouTube went away, I don't know where I would put this podcast. I would probably just put it on Red 8 or something.
Is that the commie TikTok?
I never heard of it until you told me, but
it's Red something. It's Red's in the name.
Do you know
it's
it?
straight up Chinese thieving. It's like
you want?
How do I know it? How do I know it? And you two are the ones that are plugged in.
I'll ask ChatGPT.
What's the new commie TikTok?
What's the new TikTok?
Red Note. Red Note. It's a red.
I was going to ask you to tell me in a joke form.
Oh. Yeah, because it was fun the first time.
Will you? I'm doing a podcast with a guest who makes jokes about not liking me, and I feel confident enough. Period. But with that, I'm looking for a.
Trying to jump on a running treadmill right now.
You could tell Kinane doesn't know what the fuck is going on, and he's also skeptical because Rick Glassman does a lot of like cartoons and art within the show, or a lot of edits and stuff, and you could tell Kinane's not sure what to make of that. He's like, "Am I being shit on with this? Like, is this am I the joke? Am I the punchline for all of these? Like, what is this?" And you can tell he's not quite sure. But again, like I think Rick does something so great with it where he picks up on the guests being uncomfortable and taps into it in a way that makes it oddly comfortable, if that makes sense.
Right. Next we have Bag of Tricks.
Yeah, so this is where like they really are different guys, but they explore that perfectly here, where they're going into Rick's one of the bags Rick brings with him on the road of all of his props.
I just don't want to engage about comedy outside of doing comedy.
Can we do a quick role play, and will you be the hotel?
I failed with the casting thing.
I want you to.
I should also mention, Rick mentioned how people at hotels love him. Like he makes friends as he goes on the road, and Kyle is skeptical of that. And I think that pops up at a few different points here.
I'm going to check in.
I know how it feels. You're doing you, and I'm doing me. We're doing it now. Check in. How's it going? Welcome to the Peninsula by Peninsula.
Thank you so much. Now I'm a little early. Is my room ready, or do I have to wait a little bit?
Oh, you're gonna have to. It's not ready.
That's fine. We'll wait. We're very
I would get you out of the lobby so fucking fast. I would have a room immediately. I would pay out of my pocket to get you to another hotel. Is that the only thing in that backpack?
I have lots of stuff.
Tell me that's the only thing in that
No,
backpack.
I have lots of stuff in there. I have my stuff in there.
That is your stuff.
A lot of my
That's a
stuff.
puppet of yourself.
Puppet
That's one of your 5 backpacks that you go to the Peninsula Hotel in New York with. Please show me around several rooms. 4 of these backpacks have puppets of myself. God damn, man. Yeah, get this guy the nicest room. Get Puppet Master up in the suite. Get him and his dog and his puppets up in there. I really think they all like me. I really think they're charmed. Dog shit and puppet hair all over the place. Oh, Mr. Glassman, so sad to see you go.
Fuck your ex or something?
The strippers really like you too.
You just changed into a mean person.
You took a puppet out of a bag without saying nothing beforehand. Ugh. I should have researched this. Do you have more than one puppet at any given time in a hotel room?
No.
Are you lying?
I have so many.
I should have researched it. I think it's so beautiful, their chemistry here, because Kyle is playing along in a way where he's like making his feelings about it known, but he's not shutting it down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's shitting on Rick, and Rick is playing along with it very well too. Did a puppet fuck your ex or something? That was a funny line. So like watching these two, I just figured as I watched this episode, we shit on so much stuff here that I wanted to introduce a podcast that I really liked to tell you to watch. So that's what we're doing now. Go check this episode out if these clips are entertaining.
Here's a good thing.
Yeah, he's a nice moment.
This is the last clip that we alluded to earlier.
Okay, yeah.
She works in showbiz and it's not great right now. So she's
what did she do?
Find some work.
His
She
girlfriend
used to work at Comedy Central as a network executive.
Do I know her?
You know Rachel Olsen?
You're with Rachel Olsen? Really?
Do you know Rachel?
No.
Are you doing a thing?
I heard you right.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Okay. I don't know if I can't tell when you're doing a bit or not.
I understand, man.
It's tough.
You know what I'm experiencing with you is something I haven't experienced in a while, and I take responsibility for it. But I know that
Mutual
there's other people out
appreciation.
there that like will be okay with who I am.
You don't think I'm okay with who you are?
I do think you're okay with who I am. I think that I'm guessing the way you probably were when you were in your late 20s, early 30s, you might have had a problem with me, and now you're like whatever because you're more okay with yourself in the life.
Well, you're a bits guy. We started off bits, all bits, and then I didn't know if we're doing bits. We're like, I'm not happy being here, and that's my bit, and you're doing your thing.
Yeah, but we didn't meet at a coffee shop. I'm asking when you come on my podcast.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was going to be like,
right.
So what happened when you were 7 that made you? I didn't know if it was going to be like that.
Well, I felt the waters as a joke when I said to you, so what got you into comedy?
Yeah, and I got it. And
great. So we're not doing that stuff. You get that.
Yeah.
Let me show you my puppet and do some fucking bits.
Yeah. Then the puppet came out like late in the game.
Yeah. I guess I could start opening with it.
It would help if I knew there was a puppet. Because now I'm realizing you want to bring the puppet back out.
No.
He's like, I felt close enough to you to show you my puppet. It's like I did a bit with you early and said, okay, this is a guy I can show my puppet off to.
Bag?
I have other stuff in here.
You keep saying, but mostly it's puppet.
Okay.
Right? The puppet was the size of the bag.
I have my fake mustaches in there.
That's where he's like, it's mostly puppets. He's like, yeah, no, fake mustaches as well. This is just carry on that he brings on the flight. So it is like, to me, Rick Glassman is like, if Andy Kaufman was on stage reading a book and then halfway through was like, are you guys hating this? Am I an asshole for doing this? Like, there's an honesty to what Rick Glassman is doing, and it's presented in such a way that I really appreciate. I get it's not for everybody. But I think it's hilarious. And I think the Kyle Kinane episode was probably, if you're not familiar with Take Your Shoes Off, it's probably one of the better ways to start. So go check out, because if you don't love Rick, you at least appreciate what Kyle is doing on it,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a great way to be introduced to that format and what Rick is doing. I think it's very interesting. I think it's also very cool to have like animation and that type of stuff on a podcast where like the host is asking for it, like I think that's really interesting.
Is that because half the panel is usually
I think it's interesting to do it in a way where like the host is requesting it rather than some guy seeing what he can get away with on a blind guy and trying to fool him. I think that's pretty interesting.
I like how half the times he gets caught. I'm like, did you see this thing he did? It was very funny. And you're like, no.
What
did it.
thing?
I'm like, fuck.
Go check out Take Your Shoes Off. Rick needs my help, you know?
That's right.
All right. Are we moving on to the final topic of the day?
We are.
We breezed through. This is kind of nice. A quick 2-hour show.
That's right.
I was thinking of that. So I was like, hey, I need a break from like Steel Toe and that stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know if we have enough this week. Maybe I should do. And then I remembered, like, we used to do sometimes under an hour.
Yeah. Like 45 minutes. We were like, what a haul.
Yeah. So that it dawned on me. I was like, I don't need to do 3 hours every week.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 4th birthday too.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Happy birthday to us.
New
I
Year's.
forgot that like the reason it got to 3 hours is because like we added Stuttering John on top of what we were already doing.
Yeah.
So
and
it
then,
became a 3-hour show.
and as Big J will tell you, that opens many other doors.
Oh my God. The worlds you get into.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get into Richard Ojeda?
Absolutely. Always. Constantly.
Big news, guys. Richard needs our support, and I'm here to announce the Blind Mike Project in the congressional race in 2026.
Mhm.
We are putting our full support. I am fully endorsing Richard Ojeda for the congressional seat in North Carolina. I don't know which district. I probably don't know enough about it, but I am endorsing him fully. Craig, do you agree? Are you on board?
I have to.
Okay,
I
good.
disagree with everything that comes out of his mouth, but I have to. support it.
I think we need this guy in Washington opening cans of whoop ass on
Oh
these
my
people.
God. If Trump says anything remotely negative about him specifically again, he might die.
Oh, yes. No, we need an Ojeda Trump showdown in Washington. So let's get this man there. It's very important. But I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's ease into Richard Ojeda. We haven't talked about Richard in a while.
It has been a while, and I miss him.
What are we starting with?
Racist.
Yeah, well, this is I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Richard Ojeda seems to think that Donald Trump has some bigoted tendencies. And now he goes about it very subtly. But I think you guys will be able to pick up on some of the nuances in Richard's argument here.
So sick and tired of still watching people act like they support him that are people of color. Donald Trump does not like you. Donald Trump has a history of being friggin' racist. I can guarantee you, I bet you he says the N-word more than any damn body.
Hold on. We need that in Congress. Just an argument based on nothing. Just an argument based on no facts. Just him going, I bet you. I feel like that's probably true, is what Richard is saying.
So I do a news program every morning.
Yes.
And some of the shit coming off the left's televisions lately, the left's channels, has been some of the most racist shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Are you implying that it's racist to go, what's wrong with you people?
No, I'm talking about.
Why are you people voting for him?
Did you see the female bishop do that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She was like, who's gonna clean your office building? And then some other
Yes.
lady.
Well, we've been talking about this. Remember, we did this with Stuttering John and Ojeda, where they're like, good luck having someone pick your fruit.
Yeah.
No white person's going to do that. It's like, that's why you want minorities in this country to
Last
pick
week-
your fruit and clean your toilets?
Last week, some lady on a CNN panel was like, I can't wait to see what suburban white women do when they can't find blueberries for their smoothies. I'm just like, oh my.
Yeah, no, it's not at all racist to say, hey, those menial jobs are for the Browns. Who else is going to do them? Not us pure whites.
If you just get it on paper, Trump's like, hey, come here legally and everything's fine. Racist.
Not on our watch.
Guarantee you, I bet you he says the N-word more than any damn body because he doesn't like you people of color. And how some of you people would even be willing to go out and support him. And where's Forgiato Blow? Where's he at? Where's all these dumbass friggin' rappers and friggin' Latino rappers?
Oh, no, Richard.
Where they at?
Richard, You're starting to sound like Craig.
I don't sound like I'm not even stepping there.
You're not a racist. Don't quote very good show. Where are all these friggin' rappers?
Why are they rapping for him?
Let's round them up.
He's like, okay, we have Eminem. That's about it.
I assume Richard also gets upset when rappers endorse the other candidate, right?
How
I'm sure it goes
often-
both ways, where he says, hey, separate the art, people.
How often did he say the N-word when he was a child?
Richard?
Yeah.
We asked him, never.
Yeah, I know, but we want the real answer.
And friggin' Latino rappers that were rapping for Donald Trump. Where are they at now? Where are they at? Because
Also, there's a tinge of racism in talking about rappers and going, where are they at?
The ones you're talking about, Richard, may be back on the other side of the border.
Where are your homeboys at?
Where are the fellas?
your family members, they're rounding your folks up. So where are you at? They're quiet.
I cannot wait for this shit to come up in a debate.
Oh my God. Richard would be such a great debater. And I got to say, people have been looking, I guess it's useless now because Trump is in office and can't run again. But like, people were looking for the left's answer to Donald Trump. We're looking at him.
He's right there staring
It's
at
this man. He's off his rocker in the most beautiful way. Like, he could rally people.
He really could.
And Richard has some ideas that aren't as like Richard has gotten absorbed in anti-Trump. Like his whole world is whatever Trump says, I have to say the opposite. But Richard was like kind of a radical guy who was going against the establishment. That's why he voted for Trump originally.
Right.
So like somewhere in that brain, I think there's some good, he could be like a Bernie Sanders type Democratic candidate where he has the loons on their side, the radicals on their side. I think some momentum could happen for Richard. He probably needs to stop saying the stuff about the brown people picking fruit. But
He was such a Republican and changed every stance he's ever stood for because Trump made fun of him a little bit.
he was a wacko.
And that was it. And now everything he ever believed is opposite.
Well, again, Richard was a guy, he wasn't a Republican or a Democrat, I don't think. He was a guy that was for change. He didn't like the way things were going, and he wanted someone out there to shake things up. And now I think that man is Richard Ojeda. I think we got to put our power behind him.
Well, let's put it this way. You know some of the people that are getting kicked out of the military now that Trump's in office?
Sure.
You think Ojeda wants to be in a foxhole with them? I don't think so.
Well, he says he would. So
yeah, that's why I think he's lying.
I didn't hear this tough guy when we had Richard on. I didn't hear you poking him in the chest.
What are we gonna do? He's just gonna scream. I guess that would be worth it. I guess. Right?
Yeah. Craig walks out. Craig storms out of Richard Ojeda interview.
Yeah, that would have got some clicks.
Well, we'll definitely have him on when it's closer to his once he boots things up. We got to have him back.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm gonna even buy like a Kamala Harris shirt for that interview and just like let's gas this motherfucker up.
Put our Tar Heels hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I probably will have Tar Heels gear on. I'm a Belichick fan.
Yeah, me too. I finally have a college to root for.
Yeah.
It's more than un-American than what Donald Trump does. Fact. And oh, by the way, I love it because Donald Trump's approval rating is in free fall mode.
No, it's not.
And every day it gets worse.
He's been in office for like 2 weeks.
And his approval rating is pretty good. You're probably looking at Biden's maybe.
I'm going to tell you right now. Let me tell you something. You write them Republicans. You write them Republicans in your state. You write your Republican.
How dare you?
You write them a murder threat.
I double dare you, motherfucker.
If you vote for this, we as a nation will curb stomp your ass.
You let them know that if they continue licking this guy's boots, do not darken your doorstep when it's time for him to get reelected.
I don't know that analogy. Is that a phrase I should know?
No idea. No
Not
clue.
darken your doorstep. That's what Trump's trying to do.
Does that mean shut the light off so no one
don't know.
touches you? Maybe. Oh, that's probably what it is. Actually,
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go after every single one of these Republicans that licked this guy's friggin' boots. And I can't wait because y'all know I'm going to run.
Yeah.
In his face every daggone time I see him.
The idea of Richard just pacing outside
Oval Office.
outside the Oval Office. I gotta talk to this motherfucker.
Oh, dude, I would pay so much money to watch Trump giving a speech from the Oval Office and Ojeda's head pop out of the bush outside the window.
I think every day he would be in the ear of Trump's assistant or whoever that would be. Get me on the books with him. Get me a meeting.
This next clip is called "Get Ready."
Okay, so we know Ojeda is running. He hasn't officially announced it. He's alluded to it. The official announcement's coming later. Again, this is the 2026 election, so he's got a little time. But he's gassing us up, and we have people in North Carolina, right? We must.
You sure do,
Come on, put a 1 in the chat if you're from North Carolina.
and are gonna vote for him.
Yeah, and even if you're not, just pretend you are. What's the difference? You know.
I mean, I do a show every morning at Newsmax, and I'm begging you to vote for this guy.
Yeah, you got to get this guy. I've been telling you for years. You got to get him on Jerry's podcast.
That's the way. That's the way is when he's running for Congress. Be like, Jerry, I got this guy running for Congress.
These two, they are the same guy, by the way.
And I'll
Jerry
be
and
like-
Richard Ojeda are the same guy. They're just opposite voting.
And I'll be like, listen, all of the topics you sent me, throw them in the trash. We're talking to him for an hour.
Facebook alone. So everybody, please make sure you're following me on Facebook. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. Make sure that you're following Turn Left Pack on Facebook, on YouTube. We have a lot of videos going on, stuff like that. And get ready, because in the very near future, folks, I'm going to be announcing, and we're going to fight this battle. We're going to fight this battle, and I'm going to need everybody that listens to me. I'm going to need all of y'all. You know, I'm going to need you all helping me share everything that I post.
Mhm.
I need you guys to be paying attention to everything that I do.
You got it.
We'll be paying attention, baby. You have our vote, Richard. I might move to North Carolina just to vote for Richard.
I think if we go now, we can be there like for long enough time to be able to vote.
Yeah.
Because we have to educate everybody, especially the people in my district, because we can win this. We can flip a seat from red to blue, and make no mistake about it. If I go to Washington, D.C., I'll tell you the things I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you, when I push something, if they act like they're not going to let it be red on the floor, I'll stand up and I'll do it my damn self. And I'll get the people.
Yes!
That's exactly what I did in West Virginia when it comes to medical cannabis. And I got that damn bill passed in my first 60 days. Because why? Because ain't nobody
loves mentioning
I
know.
And it can't do. That's a fact. Folks, y'all be good to each other, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sappers clear the way. Airborne all the way.
Airborne all the way. Hell yeah, baby. Can you imagine a world where Steve Robinson is live streaming one of these boring congressional and Richard Ojeda stands up and says, "Y'all wait a minute now. I ain't done."
He comes out. I ain't done with you, I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers. Dude, Bernie Mac.
Oh, is that my dream for Steve to be live commenting on that?
I mean, he can't lie about how entertaining he is.
No. I think Steve would love him.
I hope so.
but Richard Ojeda standing up as they're like, "All right, meeting adjourned." They're about to bang that gavel. And Richard's like, nah.
Oh my God.
Hold on one goddamn second.
This is the way to get him on Jerry's show.
I'm telling you, yeah, it has to be done.
Before I would have been like, he does like a Facebook show. You'd been like, no, like he's running for Congress. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
I think Richard would wipe the floor with Jerry, if I'm being quite honest.
I think they would just both start screaming at each other. I don't know if they would be like a winner, really.
This guy's a wacko.
The fuck you just said? Like he just passes after. That's his trigger.
All right, so we have a couple examples of when Elon is dealing with the empty suits down in Washington, how he might approach them, right?
Yep.
Those are the rest of our Ojeda clips. Where this might be a little taste of when Richard has a problem with a fellow congressman or senator or something. Maybe finally gets to meet with Donald Trump. This is how he'll approach that. So this is him talking about Elon Musk, right?
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, remember, folks, from here on out, it's called swastikar. Yeah, every time you speak about one of those Tesla...
Is Richard all right? He's coughing.
He sounds like he's dying.
They're getting me. They heard I'm running for office. They couldn't handle it.
It's so funny how, like, Democrat filled this Trump cabinet was. They're just all switching.
True. Maybe Richard will be one of them.
Oh, that'd be
Wouldn't that be great if Trump just complimented Richard and he comes on with a MAGA hat and he's like, yo, we need to round these people up and get them out of our country. They're breaking the law.
This is Trump's long play just to call him a wacko on national television.
Elon Musk vehicles, call it a swastikar. Yeah, and once again, if Elon Musk doesn't believe that was a Heil Hitler salute, then let him go to Berlin, Germany, stand in front of the Brandenburg Gate and wave at every car just like that as it passes by. It won't take 5 minutes for somebody to kick his guts loose.
That's the kind of talk we need in Washington.
Yeah.
They suppressed Bernie Sanders because he was a pussy. He let Hillary Clinton walk all over him.
Yes,
this guy, let him loose. I will stomp your guts out.
And whatever.
This guy's running for Congress and might win, and he has hours and hours of him actively threatening people in high-ranking government positions.
That's my one thing about this. It's like it's not going to be long to people realize like he's actually unfit.
No, but I think Richard is running at a level where Congress is a level where unless it hits the right eyes, like people aren't going to try to take him down necessarily.
Well, if we start tweeting more about him,
yeah,
maybe.
No, we're pro Richard. Guys, nothing to see here is our motto.
Yeah, nothing to see here. We're just going to tweet out stuff that we're like, you should vote for this.
Yeah.
He's like, Trump should be shot. Put that out there.
Yeah, maybe don't put that out there on my podcast, but
no, we're not saying that. Ojeda is, but we gotta tweet out to be like, this is what we're voting for.
I understand.
This is our last clip of the day.
Yeah, so he also talks about Eric Trump. Now, this is something he's been teasing for a while. He has been Don King to his daughter's uninformed boxer for many years. Now, she's his pit bull, where he threatens to let loose his daughter at no expense. And it's no different here with Eric Trump, where this really comes out of nowhere. Unless I'm missing the context or something, I don't know how he comes to this solution with Eric Trump.
Did you see Eric Trump's post that he deleted? It said, to all who dare to defy the American golden age, heed this warning. You will lose. Toe the line. He misspelled the word toe, by the way. Or we will hunt you down. The gloves are off, and we are not playing around this time. For now, it's tariffs. But trust me, we can and we will do so much worse. Let me tell you something. My daughter could kick the dog shit. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Even after I found the clip, I set it up, I told you guys about it, and I still forgot it went that direction. It comes out of nowhere where he's like, my daughter would kick the shit out of this boy.
Kick the dog shit.
Why? Where is that coming from?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
But I need him threatening to kick the dog shit out of Jim Jordan or Jim Justice or whoever these people are that he hates.
We need to get on Ojeda 26 shirts.
Who's is Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably his most hated ally. That would be a good showdown.
Yeah,
Versus Marge the Trainwreck Green.
Just imagine the Tasmanian devil in Congress. Throwing fits.
That would be so great. If done right, there would be Ojeda news every day. It would be very exciting.
Anytime he gets like those hearings where they get to ask questions would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
You imagine Ojeda asking fucking Pete Hegseth questions.
Yes, it was threatened that the Speaker of the House would have his guts stomped out today, as Congressman Richard Ojeda took the podium.
We have one last super chat here. Cliff F, $2. I'll look forward to Ojeda commercials in 26.
That's very exciting. Yeah. Ooh, we should have HACKRIDE film those for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tell Ojeda we want to make some commercials for his congressional run. There might be rules against that for him, but we'll see.
HACKRIDE says Ojeda would be like the 78th weirdest person in Congress, not even top 50.
But are any of them as open about it as Ojeda?
Not to my knowledge, but we're also hyper focused on him.
True, that's fair, yeah. But are there people that will openly say, like, I'll have my daughter beat the shit out of you?
Someone in the first family.
My daughter versus your son. And then he goes on, he's talking about what an idiot Eric Trump is. The clip doesn't quite, I didn't pull it because it doesn't quite make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's like, Eric Trump's an idiot. He goes, I bet Barron Trump's an idiot. He's like going after the youngest kid.
I want to see a stare down between those two. He's him just looking up at the building that is barren.
Yeah, so that we've our full backing, Richard. All jokes aside, you've got our endorsement here on the Blind Mike Project. Our candidate for 2026 is officially Richard Ojeda. Lock it in, folks. Move to North Carolina and vote Richard.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, that's very exciting. Anything else before we get out of here?
I got nothing.
All right.
Oh, wait. You know what? I'm fucking out of here, dude.
Oh, hey, come on. You racist scum. You get out of here.
Oh, wait. Before I actually walk off, everyone stick around for Catch 22 directly after the show. Now, fuck off. I'm out of here.
If you actually walk out, we can't end the show. So
I'm gone.
blindmike.net and verygoodshow.org. Support the boys. Now get out of here, you pink racist.
And we have a meme transition.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Sappers clear the way. Everyone all the way.
Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
There's no cum on my mic.
rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story.
Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike.
All right.
Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
What's that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing's bad happened.
Money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.